By faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which hath foundation, whose builder and maker is God. Live by Faith Television presents Dr. Stephen L. Williams in Cheerfulness and Christian Courtesy. What encouraging message did Jesus give to his disciples before leaving them? John chapter 16 and verse 33. I have told you these things, so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. What were some of the cheering words he said to them? John chapter 14 verses 1 through 3. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God. Trust also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you. I am going there to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. In what spirit should we serve the Lord? Psalms 100 and verse 2. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. What effect does a cheerful attitude have upon our health? Proverbs chapter 17 and verse 22. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. What effect do helpful, cheerful words have on us? Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 55. An anxious heart weighs a man down, but a kind word cheers him up. By what temporal blessing does God fill our hearts with gladness? Acts chapter 14 and verse 17. Yet he has not left himself without testimony. He has shown kindness by giving you rain from heaven and crops in their season. He provides you with plenty of food and fills your heart with joy. Why and for what may every child of God rejoice? Isaiah chapter 61 and verse 10. I delight greatly in the Lord. My soul rejoices in my God, for he has clothed me with garments of salvation and arrayed me in a robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom adorns his head like a priest, and as a bride adorns herself with her jewels. What lessons about attitude did Paul highlight from the Israelites' wilderness journey? 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 10. And do not grumble, as some of them did, and were killed by the destroying angel. What did Jesus tell us to do even when we are persecuted? Luke chapter 6 verses 22 and 23. Blessed are you when men hate you, when they exclude you and insult you and reject your name as evil because of the Son of Man. Rejoice in that day and leap for joy, because great is your reward in heaven. For that is how their ancestors treated the prophets. How did the apostle respond when they were beaten for preaching Christ? Acts chapter 5 and verse 41. The apostles left the Sanhedrin rejoicing because they had been counted worthy of suffering disgrace for his name. What did Paul and Silas, after severe whipping and with their feet chained to stocks, do while in prison? Acts chapter 16 and verse 25. About midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the other prisoners were listening to them. What encouragement does Paul give us in the face of life's hardship? Romans chapter 8 and verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him and who have been called according to his purpose. What attitude should we always keep in our hearts? Philippians chapter 4 and verse 4. Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again. Rejoice. How should Christians relate to each other? 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8. Finally, all of you live in harmony with one another. Be sympathetic. Love as brothers. Be compassionate and humble. Who deserves our respect? 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 17. Show proper respect to everyone. Love the brotherhood of believers. Fear God. Honor the king. Whom should we be friendly with? Matthew chapter 5 and verse 47. And if you greet only your brothers, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that? What respect should we give to the age? Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 32. Rise in the presence of the age. Show respect for the elderly and reverence for God. I am the Lord. Whom especially should children honor? Exodus chapter 20 and verse 12. Honor your father and your mother. How should faithful gospel ministers be regarded? 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 17. The elders who direct the affairs of the church are worthy of double honor, especially those whose work is preaching and teaching. What is the basis of true Christian courtesy? 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verses 4 and 5. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs.